These super tiny meatballs were the precursor to what we in America now know as the tradition of spaghetti and meatballs. But these tiny meatballs were born in Abruzzo, and tiny meatballs are just better. Instead of one big meatball, you get tons of tiny meatball throughout every bite of pasta. They're so small you can fit multiple meatballs on just one fork. It's a beautiful thing, and today we're going to make them. I want to thank Harry's for sponsoring this video, but more on them later. For now, let's just jump right into it.
So here's a roundup of the ingredients we're going to be using. We're going to be using a little bit of ricotta, some parsley, an egg, some garlic, some breadcrumbs, some pecorino romano cheese, and about a pound of meat. And we're gonna go with a half pound of ground chuck, 80-20 fat to lean ratio if you can find it, and then a half pound of ground veal. You could use one or the other or both, but I find beef is the heart of the flavor of a meatball, and the veal adds a better texture.
Now traditionally, the recipe to these meatballs is fairly simple. Served in a rich meat sugo or tomato sauce that's been cooked with lots of meats till they fall apart, so you get like a rich tomato sauce. These traditional tiny meatballs had some meat in them, maybe some egg, a little bit of cheese, a little bit of salt, some pepper, maybe some oil, and that's it. Much simpler than the style of meatball that you might see on this channel. I referenced some traditional recipes like you're seeing in this new Pasta Granny's cookbook that I just got. I tried them the traditional way, and then I tried them in a way more similar to how I would make my meatballs. And not surprisingly, I liked the more seasoned version. So we're sort of gonna make a riff on my meatballs, but in the style of these Abruzzo style tiny meatballs that are the OG meatballs.
So to get these started, I'm gonna get a big bowl and I'm gonna crack the egg into that bowl first. And with my hands, I'm just gonna beat it up so it's just kind of broken up and looser, and it's gonna coat the meat a little bit better. Then you wanna toss the meat in there, and with your fingertips, just break it up a little bit to get the egg coated on every little piece of ground meat. And then just work the egg in throughout so that it's evenly distributed so you have maximum binding power. Next, in a smaller bowl off to the side, we're gonna mix up our seasoning slushy. To make that, we're just gonna add about a quarter cup of ricotta, about a third cup of pecorino romano cheese, about a third cup of breadcrumbs. I'm gonna take a big clove of garlic and I'm just gonna microplane that directly in. I'm gonna chop up some fresh parsley, roughly chop that, and then get that into the mix, hit it with a little bit of salt. And usually I add a little bit of tomato sauce, but I haven't made that yet. I'm making this all in one pot, so I'm just gonna add a little bit of olive oil for some moisture, and I'm gonna take my hand and just sort of bind that all together until it can form almost like a ball. Then you want to take that and break that up into the beef, season the beef, and then with your hands you just want to squeeze and work that mixture into the beef so that it's evenly distributed across the entire piece of meat. You want it to bind to itself. You want it to go from those strands of ground meat into some sort of a homogeneous ball that holds together. And for me, the smell is an indication that it's properly seasoned. You should get here with the garlic, the parsley, the cheese, and if you can smell those, you're good. Now what we have here is a large meatball that we're going to turn into a ton of tiny meatballs.
Now when we say small, when we're talking about these meatballs, we mean super duper tiny. So tiny that it's going to be annoying if you try and measure it out by your hand and just pinching tiny balls. They'll be all over the place. So we're going to use the smallest of measuring devices. On the large end, the half teaspoon, and if you want to go really, really small, the quarter teaspoon. I'm more of a fan of the half teaspoon because it just allows the fork to access the ball a little easier, although the quarter teaspoon will get more caught up in the spaghetti. So it's up to you. I'm going with half.
Now if there's one downside about this recipe, it's gonna be this part. We're gonna take our little measuring spoon, we're gonna grab some of that meat in it, we're gonna clean up the excess on the side and compress it into the measuring spoon, clean up the sides again, and just use your thumb to sort of roll it out of the spoon, and you got yourself these perfect little balls. Not that complicated. However, it feels like it takes a year to get through them. It's a great opportunity to get some help, get the kids involved. Otherwise, you gotta find a fast way of doing it. I grab some in my palm, I scoop with the measuring spoon, clean it up, and then after I got my technique, I just sort of try and settle into this meditative Zen-like state. I'm swaying back and forth. I'm almost robotic at it. Not really thinking of what I'm doing. Maybe I got some music playing, and before you know it, you got all the balls measured out. There are many kitchen tasks that require that ability, and this is one of them. Then you gotta go through and roll them into nice nice little balls. Now they should be compact, so you don't have to worry about that. You kind of just have to go through and roll them up. And again, it just takes a bit of time. And this is a recipe that's only for 2. If you want to make 4, it's going to take even more time. And you might ask yourself, this seems like a lot. Why would I ever do this? But to me, this is the ultimate expression of love. Having a ton of meatballs in each bite. I don't like only one meatball when I have spaghetti and meatballs. I want more meatballs, but big meatballs fill me up. These little meatballs, you get a little bit of meatball in every bite, but it feels a little bit lighter.
In Italy, you spent about 75% of your paycheck on food, and meat was super expensive, so you didn't eat much of it. And when you did, you probably served smaller portions of it. Hence the smaller meatballs. But when immigrants from Sicily, Calabria, Abruzzo, Naples, immigrants from all over Italy come to America, and now food's cheaper. The cost of food's about 25% of their bill instead of 75. They have more money to spend. They have ingredients that they never had before. And so they just adopted their traditions to the experiences around them and evolved what they might have been used to based on what's available here. That's how you get large meatballs. It's how you go from eggplant parmesan to chicken parmesan. The way Italian-American food evolved was a direct consequence of their environment, just like any regional cuisine in Italy was. Italian-American cuisine is a bit of a melting pot of all Italian cuisines. All of those merged together in America, and that's why traditions here might seem very strange to an Italian, but they should realize there is a direct line to their tradition. Now, before we move on to the recipe, I gotta make sure you're properly groomed thanks to our sponsor today, Harry's.com. Harry's offers premium blades that are manufactured in their own factories in Germany, and they give a comfortable, close, and smooth shave just like all the other razors you've been comfortable using in your life, except they don't bang you over the head at price. The blades come in a new two-tone handle design. I got the color Ocean because I love blue. They've got much deeper handle grooves for an improved grip, and 50% of the plastic in their handle is recycled. And just like all those high-end blades out there, these come complete with a precision trimmer and a flex hinge. And of course they offer a foaming shave gel that is suitable for sensitive skin just like mine is, with skin-loving ingredients like aloe and hyaluronic acid. And the best of all is that the blades don't come with an outrageous price tag. Just a premium quality blade at an affordable price. And they offer a starter set with everything you need to get started, including a 5-blade razor with the weighted handle, a blade cover, and of course their foaming shave gel. And if you want to give this stuff a try, Harry's is giving you an opportunity to get your hands on this starter set for just $3 when you go and visit my link down in the description, harrys.com/notanothercookingshow. So head on down to the link and let's just get back into the recipe. So now these OG meatballs are from Abruzzo. And the Italian name for this dish is spaghetti alla città con pallottine. And they're served with a homemade squared spaghetti called spaghetti alla città, which is just a reference to the tool that is used to make it, which looks like a guitar. But my città seems to have not have made it in the mail yet, so we're gonna have to cover that another time. But luckily for now, stores have them available.
These are 2 pasta brands that I like. Rusticella d'Abruzzo makes the Abruzzo style alla città dried, and De Cecco does as well in something called a squared spaghetti, which is much more widely available than the smaller producer from Abruzzo.
This squared spaghetti happens to be my favorite. It's gonna go perfectly in this dish, so that's what we're gonna use. So we're gonna set this off to a side. We're gonna use about half of that box because we're gonna make this recipe for 2. And usually 1 can of tomatoes would be fine for this recipe, but since we're making it with meatballs, meatballs are sort of like a sponge, so they will absorb a lot of this sauce as well. So whenever I do meatballs, 1 can of tomato is gonna work for 2 people. If you're gonna do 4 people, you're gonna wanna double the sauce.
A good rule of thumb though is whenever you make meatballs is to just make more sauce than you really need. But for this recipe, I try to keep things tight, and we're just gonna go with 1 can, and we can adjust if we need later. So I'm just gonna run my can of whole peeled organic tomatoes from Bianco di Napoli. Shout out to Chris Bianco, one of the creators of this tomatoes. Go check him out right now on Chef's Table Pizza on Netflix. Now usually I don't add water to a tomato sauce. In fact, I reduce any water in the tomatoes in a pan. That's the whole idea. For this, since I'm cooking meatballs and I need them to cook for a little bit, I'm gonna add a half a can of water to it so that those meatballs can be done cooking at the same time the sauce is perfectly reduced. Make sure you scrape all the pulp off the bottom of the food mill, and then we can slice up some garlic very very thin. And then I'm gonna pick some basil leaves off of the stem, and I'll use that stem to cook with the garlic to infuse that basil flavor with the garlic into the olive oil. Then we're gonna get a saute pan with a high rim. We're gonna coat the bottom of the pan with olive oil, and once it's hot, we're gonna add about half the meatballs into the pan, and we're gonna allow them to brown. Let them sit on one side undisturbed for a few minutes to develop good color on at least one side of the meatballs. They are small, so it's gonna be harder to get like a perfect brown on every meatball, so don't kill yourself there. But once you got the meatballs nicely browned, then use a slotted spoon and remove them from the pan. Bring the temperature of the pan back up, and then add the next batch of the meatballs. And now the pan might be a little cooler, so some might stick. So what you want to do is give it some time, shake the pan a little bit every now and then to see if any will loosen up from the bottom of the pan. And don't worry if they stick. As they develop some browning on that one side, they will eventually release from the pan when you give them a shake. If you want to help a few along with the spoon, go ahead. But once you get that second batch of meatballs pretty well browned, then we're going to toss in the garlic and the basil stem. Let those cook, soften up, become aromatic, and once there's a little bit of brown developed on the garlic, add that first batch of meatballs back to the pot, lower the heat a little bit, hit the meatballs with a bit more salt, and if you want, you could deglaze with a little wine, but if you don't have, you can still use the tomatoes. We're going to add the tomatoes at this point and use a spoon to scrape up and deglaze the bottom of the pan. We're going to hit it with a little bit of salt and then bring that mixture up to a simmer. Now we're going to start to cook the meatballs and reduce this sauce. You can see it's pretty watery at this state. We're just going to let it go. I'm going to manage the heat. The tomatoes are spitting. I'm just going to lower the heat down to calm down the action, but I do want reduction to happen. Then I'm just going to check the consistency. I'm going to check the smell. The smell should be intoxicating, and once the consistency of that sauce starts to thicken up a bit, then we can start to cook the pasta. Like I said, I'm only going to cook about a half pound of this pasta, and for al dente it says 11 minutes, so I'm just going to add that pasta into some salted water. I'm going to set a timer for 10 minutes, and I'm going to allow the pasta and the sauce to cook in those 10 minutes. The sauce is going to continue to reduce. You could visibly see it thickening and coating the meatballs better than it was when we started this process. The sauce is almost done. We're going to remove that basil stem, and we're just going to let it go until it's the perfect consistency. And at that point, we should be a few minutes away from the pasta being done. I'm going to get another finishing pot out so we can take some of that sauce into that pot and finish the pasta there. And you want to get some of that sauce, some of the meatballs in the pot, but you also want to save some for on top so you can get a nice saucy meatball garnish at the end. After that 10 minutes, we can drain the pasta, add it to the sauce. We're gonna add a tablespoon of butter, some fresh basil, and then we're just gonna toss the pasta into the sauce, into the meatballs. The meatballs are gonna get tangled up in all those strands of pasta. And we're just gonna finish cooking until the pasta's al dente. If you need more sauce, add more sauce to the pasta. At this point, I can see the sauce is a little bit over reduced, and this is a rare time in which I might take some extra pasta water and add that to a tomato sauce. Just gonna go a little bit at a time until that tomato sauce thins out a bit and becomes more of a saucier consistency that I could spoon on top of the pasta once I plate it. Finish with some pecorino romano cheese or Parmigiano Reggiano if you have, and then we can head on over to plating. I'm gonna do it more of a rustic style plating, just kind of fill the edge of the bowl, not in a mound, but just sort of laid out flat in the bowl, and then I'm gonna spoon over the sauce and the meatballs all over the spaghetti. You're gonna get like 40 meatballs in your plate of pasta. Every bite is going to have a meatball. Those meatballs are going to fit perfectly at the edge of the fork. You're going to throw a little bit of basil on top, and then again we're just going to finish with a little bit more cheese, and we're going to finish with a little bit of olive oil. And there you have what might be my ideal plate of spaghetti and meatballs. You're going to love it. Your kids are going to love it. This is a hit. Once you realize you can get a meatball in every bite, you start to ask yourself, why was I ever making big meatballs? Might take a minute, but if you got some help around the house or you got some time, mini meatballs are the way to go. I want you to give them a try. Recipe's gonna be down in the description. That's all that I have today. I'll see you next time. Until then, take care of yourself and go feed yourself. If you need another comfort classic, I just posted the 3-cheese grilled cheese with tomato soup that launched my food career. It's a must-see if you follow the channel, so a link's gonna be on the screen right now along with a few others if you're interested. Otherwise, thanks for watching.